What's up, guys? Dan here, and in this video, we're going to be going over how to get started wholesaling in 2023. I just got asked this question at a meetup by a young 19-year-old investor, and so I wanted to answer it in this video today because I've been wholesaling for the last few months and investing for the last couple years to a lot of success, and I wanted to share how I got started and how I am successfully doing wholesale deals consistently on a weekly and monthly basis. So guys, make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video. We're going to be doing a special giveaway to folks that watch till the end of the video. So stay tuned all the way to the end so that you can get that special prize. Now with that, guys, how do you get started wholesaling? Well, first off, what is wholesaling exactly? If you're watching this video, you may be new to the idea, or you may know a little bit about it and just want to really get a concrete plan of action. Now, guys, I'm no guru. I'm not trying to sell you a course or anything like that. I'm just trying to share some information from my experience, slogging it out in the field, so that hopefully I can help you guys and maybe we'll work on a deal together down the road. But with that, wholesaling is essentially going out and marketing directly to sellers or property owners that typically are in distress or their property is in distress and they need a quick cash sale most of the time. So a lot of these people, their main priority is not the highest price. It is actually getting a firm, solid cash offer. They are looking for speed and certainty. Okay, so with a cash offer, there's no financing contingencies. There's none of that. So, they know they're going to get paid for the price that they, eventually agree upon. And with cash, there's no real time frame except for title work. So, usually you can close a deal in like a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on what you do, but you can close very fast. So a lot of people, if they're having problems, maybe they're in foreclosure, they have a death, divorce, something like that, who knows what it is. For whatever reason, they need to sell their house fast for cash, right? They're not concerned about messing with it, getting the highest price, listing on the market, anything like that. They want to get it done. They want less hassle, speed, and certainty. That's what they're looking for. So make sure you guys write some notes as I talk about these things, because these are the things that you need to know in the back of your mind when you get objections like, the price isn't high enough, or I need to know that I'm going to close, things like that, right? So, write this stuff down. So with that, that is what wholesaling is. What you're doing is you are identifying these opportunities and, you're offering low offers that are lower than what a flipper or an investor, an end buyer will pay for the property. So say I have a property. I'll give you an example to best illustrate. So a lot of people, a flipper is going to try to make 30% margin on a flip. So what that means is that he needs to buy a house and be all in on his construction costs at 70% of the end value of the property, right? And so, for example, if I had a $100,000 house that was $100,000 after it was all fixed up on the market, that's what it would sell to a retail buyer for. The flipper needs to be all into it at $70,000, right? So what do you need to buy it for? So he needs to say the property, he has to put, to keep the number simple, $20,000 in repairs to get the property, repaired to where it's sellable, right? So he actually needs to buy this property for $50,000 from you, the wholesaler. And for you to make money as the wholesaler, you need to buy the property from the seller for, say, $45,000 to make a $5,000 assignment fee. So, that's what you have to do. So essentially what you're doing as wholesaler is you are using your marketing, using your negotiation, using your speed to solve a seller's problems very fast. You're going to be the first in and talk to this person. You're going to build rapport and you're going to get that property. You're going to buy it from them, lock it up for $45,000. Okay. And then once you do that successfully, that's what they need. Because again, guys, the motivation is not to get the most money from the property, right? The motivation is generally getting the property sold quickly and certain so that they can avoid sale foreclosure and that ruining their credit or ruining their situation, right? Like they don't want the house. They want to get rid of it. Okay. For whatever reason, they want to get rid of it now because most people, guys, if they want to get the highest possible price for their house, to be honest, the best way to do that is to list it on the market. And, as a wholesaler down the road, you should partner with other realtors so that you can refer them clients if for whatever reason a quick cash offer is not what the seller wants. But with that, they would, if they really wanted to, they could wait forever and get the highest price. They would probably put it on the market, right? But for whatever reason, maybe it's too much time. They don't want to jack with it, or they're just not that concerned. They want a quick cash offer. So what you're going to do is be like, hey, say they have a mortgage for $30,000 as an example on this example house. So you giving them $45,000 is going to solve their problem, right? It's going to pay off their mortgage, and it's going to put $15,000 in their pocket so that they can go and buy Christmas presents for the family, or go on a vacation, or move out of state, whatever it might be, whatever they need to do. It's going to solve their problem, because again, these sellers are not money minded like the investor. For the most part, they're not as concerned with getting, for you, it matters a lot what the price is, but for them, it may not as much, because they don't necessarily need the money to survive as a business like you do. So that's what you're going to do. So say we go ahead and get it locked up for $45,000. Now that the property is locked up for $45,000, you know that you can sell it to an end buyer for $50,000. Okay. So you go out there, you have a list, whether I recommend building a buyer's list, going to meetups, is the best way probably to build in-person relationships in the community with other investors that have cash or financing, hard money, things like that can close very quickly and certainly on these properties. So you got your buyer's list, you have Joe buyer, and you say, Joe, this is a great deal for you. I've got it for $50,000. He comes through, he's like, let me go take a look. You can send him their pictures, and then he's like, all right, looks good. Let me walk it, and then we can go ahead and get it locked up. So you schedule a showing, and hopefully the property's vacant, and that makes showings usually pretty easy. If not, you may have to coordinate with the seller to get your buyer in there. Now, what you can usually say is that they're a contractor or a partner that's working with you on the deal. And remember, guys, I always recommend being upfront with sellers that you are an investor, and you are going to be making money on this deal one way or the other. And so a lot of investors, they have people working with them, they have partners. Most companies are not one person. And so if you're upfront with the seller on the front end about your intentions, what you're doing, you shouldn't have any issues with this kind of stuff, because they know, okay, yeah, he's an investor. He has, partners, he has friends, contractors he's working with that need to see things. This is very common in virtually every business, right? So it shouldn't be an issue for you guys. And once you get them in there, they check it out. They like what they see. And, generally a competent buyer should not, it shouldn't take long for them to decide, right? So if they're pretty good and they go through a house, they should know almost immediately exactly how much it's going to cost to fix, and exactly, what they can sell it for or rent it for, depending on what they're going to do on the back end. But they should be able to give you an answer, immediately, or usually within a day. Because it's not going to change much. Maybe they have to go look at some numbers and run, that's fine. But like within a day or two, they should be able to give you an answer of whether or not they can pay your price. So he goes through and he likes it. He's like, yeah, I'll buy it for $50,000. Awesome. So what you're going to do is send the end buyer an assignment agreement. So what's an assignment? So you're assigning the contract. So what you're doing as a wholesaler is you are getting a property under contract, and you're not selling the house to the end buyer. You are selling them the rights to purchase your contract that then entitles them to purchase the real estate. So that's what you're selling. Really, you're selling, as a wholesaler, you're selling contracts. Okay. You're not selling houses. You're selling interests in houses. Okay. Which is a small but subtle, but profound thing to understand with wholesaling. So that's what you're going to do. So it's really not that complicated. There's forms out there that are, you get your real estate contract and you have your assignment contract. So all an assignment contract is, it's just saying that this contract entitles the buyer to buy the contract, the original contract, and then you have your fee in there. So you have your wholesale fee. Usually you just put the end price that they're going to pay. So like say, your contract is for $45,000. Theirs is $50,000. Usually you're just going to put $50,000 on there, and you're going to find a good title company and send those things over. And what they're going to do, the title company is going to break it out to where the seller or the buyer is paying 50, you're getting 5, and the seller is getting 45. And so that's how that'll work. But now that you've got that signed, what you're going to do is, at this point, there's only a couple more steps, and then you can sit back and basically just, if any problems arise, fix them. But other than that, you're kind of out of the transaction. So what you're going to do is take those two pieces of contract, your sales contract and your assignment contract, and you're going to send them to a wholesaler friendly title company. So this is very important, as there's a lot of title companies out there. And some people, whether it's a title company, depends on where you live. In the Midwest, we have title companies, but in other places, they use lawyers to close real estate transactions. So wherever real estate transactions are typically closed, that's where you're going to want to send it. But you want to find a good real estate investor friendly title company, because a lot of wholesale or title companies, they don't work with investors very much. They have no idea how assignments work. And so they can get confused and cock up your deal. So you want to find a good investor friendly, wholesale friendly title company, which there are going to be a few in any market. Go to your local Facebook group for your market and figure out what title companies people are using to close wholesale deals. And I'm sure a lot of people are very friendly. They'll happily tell you and recommend their favorite title company, and then you can go use that one. So that's a key deal, because I've tried to close assignments as an in buyer with companies that don't understand wholesalers, and they have jacked up the deal, and they get all confused, and they think that something fishy is happening, which everyone is, as an in buyer and the wholesaler, we all know what we're doing, but the title company doesn't understand this type of transaction, so they jack up the file, right? So make sure to send your file to a wholesale friendly title company. Now, after that, if you're doing a proper assignment, once it's submitted, it's basically a waiting game. So now that you've submitted your file to the title company, you're simply waiting for title work to come back. And that's going to essentially give the in buyer a clean title so they can buy the property. And then once that happens, provided nothing happens in the meantime, the buyer and the seller will close, and you don't have to bring any money to the table or any money out of your pocket. They'll close, and you will receive a check for your $5,000 assignment for putting the deal together. So that's how that'll work. And that's fundamentally a wholesale transaction. So the value you're bringing is finding the deal, getting it under contract, and providing it to the end buyer who is ravenously looking for good deals all the time. So guys, if you like that, please like and subscribe, and check out the next video for the giveaway that I told you about, guys. If you comment in the next 24 hours what you're going to do to wholesale your first deal, I'm going to pick in the first 24 hours one of the commenters, and they're going to get a free 1-hour consulting call with me to talk about anything they want. If you'd like to talk about how to get into wholesaling in more detail, I'd love to talk to you about it. But yeah, comment now on this video in the first 24 hours of the release, and we'll go ahead and get you set up with that. But guys, thank you for watching. Check out another video, and I will see you in the next chapter.